So today we will discuss the radiological anatomy of the head and neck. Okay. So first we will discuss the plain radiograph, then contrast radiograph. So first we discuss plain radiograph, different views of X-rays, straight X-rays, anteroposterior view, lateral view, occipitomeatal view, Waters view, all those you will discuss. Okay. So we first, most of the head neck radiograms are taken in anteroposterior view, oblique view and lateral view. These are the most commonly used views. And how you will read the X-ray? It is a plain X-ray or contrast X-ray, view of the X-ray, region of the X-ray and showing which structures, what are the bony structures visible and the soft tissues visible. So these 4 points you have to write down to describe a X-ray. Okay. So see here this X-ray, this is a plain radiograph of skull region, anteroposterior view. Okay. So this in the anteroposterior view, what structures you will see? First the inner and outer table. See, this outer one is the outer table and inner table of the skull. And above it, this area is the soft tissue. Above it is the soft tissue area. Next, this is frontal air sinus. This triangular hypoechoic area, this is frontal air sinus. Next, this quadrangular area, this is orbit. This is ethmoidal air sinus. In between the two medial margins of the orbit, these are the ethmoidal air sinuses. Next, here in the midline, here you will get the nasal septum. Okay, midline nasal septum. This is one nasal opening, this is another nasal cavity. Okay. So, and at the lower part of the nasal cavity, you can see this bulge. This bulge is the inferior nasal concha. And on the two sides, part of the maxilla, here will be the maxillary air sinus. Okay. And here you can see the upper jaw and lower jaw and mandible and the teeth and artificial dentures are present. So, these are visible in the X-ray. So, all these structures you have to identify, okay, in your anteroposterior view of the skull X-ray, okay. Next, we are going to the lateral view of the head neck. So, here you are getting anterior cranial fossa. Here is the anterior cranial fossa. Next, here B. This part is sella turcica, okay. U-shaped depression which lodges the pituitary gland, sella turcica. Next, there is middle cranial fossa. Here we will get the middle cranial fossa. P is the petrous part of the temporal bone. Here is the location of petrous part of the temporal bone. Next, this opening, you can see this is external auditory meatus. And posteriorly, here is the posterior cranial fossa. And here you are getting the skull cap, okay, for bones forming the vault of the skull. And in this view, you can also see the lateral view of the neck. You can see the cervical vertebra up to this region. This is occipital bone, okay. So here we will get the atlas, first cervical vertebra, then axis, okay. And you can see these are the spinous processes of the cervical vertebra posteriorly and body of the vertebra anteriorly, and in between the bodies you are seeing the intervertebral disc, okay. And here anteriorly the black area is the trachea, larynx and continue downward as trachea, posteriorly there is the esophagus, okay. And here you note down this is anterior arch of atlas, this is posterior arch of atlas, and this is axis, second cervical vertebra, and this upward projecting part, this is odontoid process of the axis, okay. This is very frequently given, this sella turcica, this odontoid process given in your OSPI question, okay. So this is lateral view with neck extended position, okay. So here you are getting diploe. Diploe means spongy tissue lying between the two skulls, inner outer plate and inner plate of the skull. In between the two plates you get some spongy bony tissue that is known as diploe. Okay, and here is the frontal ear sinus. This is anterior cranial fossa. Here is the pituitary fossa or sella tursicum. Here is the petrous part of the temporal bone, external auditory meatus. Here you are getting posterior to the external auditory meatus. Mastoid process is there, so here will be the mastoid air cells. Okay. In case of infection of the mastoid air cells, when they get filled with fluid, they will be hyperechoic. Okay, more whiter than the normal. Next, here you are seeing the anterior arch and posterior arch of atlas. This is axis. This is odontoid process or dents of the axis. Okay, same things are there. And also here you are getting the maxillary sinus, upper jaw teeth. Here is the orbit, lower jaw teeth. Okay, and here lies the temporomandibular joint. In front of this external auditory meatus, this is location of the temporomandibular joint, head of the mandible articulating with the mandibular fossa of the temporal bone, okay, forming temporomandibular joint. Next we are going to Waters view or occipito, also called the occipitomeatal view, very common view for skull X-ray. In this view, the X-ray beam is transmitted at 45-degree angulation to the orbitomeatal plane. Orbitomeatal plane passes through lower margin of the orbit and upper margin of the external auditory meatus. This is orbitomeatal plane. So patient is asked to flex the neck posteriorly and X-ray beam is passed from the chin region and plate is placed posteriorly. So this will be the occipitomeatal view or Waters view. Okay. That's how the X-ray beam are transmitted at 45-degree angulation to the orbitomeatal plane. And X-ray beam pass at right angle to the radiographic plate. And this view is taken to visualize the paranasal air sinuses, especially the maxillary air sinus. Okay. In case of sinusitis, you have to see for infection in the different paranasal sinuses. So for that, to visualize all the paranasal sinuses, Waters view is taken or occipitomeatal view. And shadows of other paranasal sinuses, orbits, odontoid process of axis vertebra, just below the symphysis menti, and mandible, upper and lower teeth, nasal cavities, nasal septum, zygomatic bones, zygomatic arches, and petrous temporal bones are seen. All these are clearly visible in this Waters view. See, this is Waters view and it is taken with open mouth. Okay. During anteroposterior and lateral view, X-ray was taken in closed mouth. Okay. Waters view is taken in open mouth. And through this opening of the mouth, you can visualize here the sphenoid sinus. Okay. Here is the location of visibility of the sphenoid sinus. So, occipitomeatal view or Waters view taken for paranasal air sinuses. Here you can see this is the frontal air sinus. Okay, above the orbit and near the midline, triangular area. These are the orbits. In between the medial walls of the orbit, here are the location of the ethmoidal air sinuses. In between the lateral wall of the nose and medial wall of the orbit. Here are the location of ethmoidal air sinuses. Below the orbit, this hypoechoic area, this is maxillary air sinus. Here is the nasal cavity, midline nasal septum, on the two sides two nasal cavity, and here are the two inferior nasal concas. Okay. And this is upper jaw teeth, and sphenoid air sinus is visible here, lower jaw teeth, and here is the odontoid process in the midline, okay, which is lying posteriorly. Okay, next we are going to plane radiograph of the neck lateral view. Okay, neck region is clearly visible here. Here you can see this is posterior arch of atlas, anterior arch of atlas, odontoid process of axis, body of axis. This is spine of the axis. This is so first and second cervical vertebra. Atlas is first cervical vertebra, axis is second cervical vertebra. Next you can see the third cervical vertebra, fourth and fifth cervical vertebra. And here this is hyoid bone, this is mandible, and these are the teeth, upper jaw and lower jaw teeth. And this hyperechoic area, this part is the esophagus, pharynx, laryngopharynx continues downward as the esophagus, and in front of it, this blackish area is the larynx, continues downwards as the trachea. Okay. Okay, so all these structures we have seen: odontoid process, posterior arch of atlas, body of axis, spinous process of axis, C3 to C5, bodies of C3 to C5, the teeth, mandible and hyoid bone. Okay, so all these are visible in lateral view of the neck. Next we have discussed the plane radiographs. So we have seen all the structure, how it looks in normal phase. Next we are going to pathological radiographs. Some defects are there. Okay. So here is temporomandibular dislocation is showing in lateral view. See, this is mandibular fossa and this is head of the mandible. Head of the mandible is dislocated posteriorly. Posterior, it is not lying in the mandibular fossa. So this is a X-ray lateral view of temporomandibular joint showing dislocation of the temporomandibular joint. Next here another thing. Here you are getting cervical rib. Okay, AP view, radiogram of the neck, AP view showing bilateral cervical rib. Okay, here from the T1, first thoracic vertebra, ribs are starting, but here you can see from the C7, seventh cervical vertebra, another ridge is attached here. So this is cervical rib. It is visible like this in plane radiogram of the neck. Next, plane radiogram of the skull of infant, lateral view showing fracture of the skull in the frontal bone here. This fine line over the frontal bone, this is showing one fracture line. Okay. And another fracture line is visible over the parietal region here. Okay. Next, here is showing fracture of the cervical vertebra. Okay, see the bodies of cervical vertebra, all the bodies are not in the same line. Okay, this generally occurs during hanging, judicial hanging or suicidal hanging. It occurs like this. Okay, there is breaking of the cervical vertebra and injury of the spinal cord occurs. Okay, so upper three vertebra bodies are here and rest of the vertebral bodies are here, and these are the spinous processes of all the vertebrae. And you can see the spinal canal is not continuous, it is breaking here. So at this region there will be injury to the spinal cord, okay, due to fracture of the cervical vertebra. Next, so we have done the plain X-rays, normal and some abnormal X-rays. You will generally be given the normal X-rays, okay, but in clinics you will see those pathological X-rays, different fractures and others. Okay. So next we are going to contrast radiography of the head and neck region. First is carotid angiography. What is carotid angiography? It is a procedure in which a catheter is introduced into a superficial vessel in upper or lower limb, radial artery or femoral artery, and guiding it to the level of carotid arteries with the help of radiographic monitoring guide. Okay, and then a contrast material is introduced into the internal carotid arteries through the catheter, and radiograms are taken. Okay, so this is how contrast carotid angiogram is done, and 3 radiographs are taken immediately and a series of radiographs are taken subsequently, or a movie is recorded to see the flow of the radio-opaque dye within the different branches of the internal carotid artery. See here, this is anterior-posterior view of the carotid angiogram, and this is lateral view. See, this is the internal carotid artery entering into the skull and dividing into different branches, forming part of the circle of Willis, and these are the different smaller branches supplying different areas. Okay, so this one of the artery has been injected. So on the one side you can visualize the internal carotid. This is anterior, and this side dye is not injected. And this is lateral view, seeing from the lateral side. Next, this is carotid angiography showing the arteries of the circle of Willis mainly. See here, this part is forming the circle of Willis. See, this is basilar artery dividing into two posterior cerebral arteries. Okay, and another branch of basilar artery is superior cerebellar artery. Next, here is the internal carotid artery dividing into this is internal carotid artery dividing into middle cerebral artery and anterior cerebral artery, and these two anterior cerebral arteries connected by anterior communicating artery, and they are continuing forward to supply the frontal lobe. Okay, so this part is forming the circle of Willis. Okay, understood? It can be visualized. In case of Berry's aneurysm, you need to visualize the circle of Willis because this is the most common site for formation of aneurysm. Okay, and here you can also see the vertebral arteries. These are the two vertebral arteries joining to form the basilar artery, and after the formation, basilar artery divides into two posterior cerebral arteries. Okay. So you can visualize all the arteries of the circle of Willis here. Next, we are going to scalography. Scalography is a procedure in which radiographic examination of salivary ducts and salivary glands is made after introducing a radiopaque dye into the ducts of the salivary glands. Okay. Initially, a plain radiogram of face, parotid or submandibular region is taken to rule out any radiopaque stones in the salivary glands. Okay, if stone is present, there will be obstruction. Dye will not enter into the different branches of the duct. Okay, so that's why you have to first rule out any radiopaque stones in the salivary glands. Then a fine cannula is inserted into the opening of the duct using a lacrimal duct probe to guide the cannula, and then the radiopaque dye is injected, preferably water soluble dye is injected into the duct through the cannula. Then a series of radiograms are taken, preferably in lateral view, to assess the flow of the dye into the duct system and into the glandular tissue. And a stone or growth causing obstruction in the duct will cause filling defect in the duct system. Distal to the blockage, the part of the duct system will not be visible. Okay, even if in case there is a growth in the duct or any stone obstruction in the duct. Okay. Next, in case of atrophy of the salivary acini, the radiogram appears as pruning of the tree. Okay. See here, this is catheter in the main parotid duct. Okay. Parotid gland has been visualized with its duct system. Here, parotid duct opens opposite upper second molar teeth. So you have to locate the opening of the parotid duct. A cannula is passed through the duct and a dye is injected to visualize the duct system of the parotid gland. Okay, so here is the duct system of the gland. It's looking like this. So there is no obstruction. This is a normal sclerogram. Okay, and this is the location of the catheter in the main parotid duct. Okay, so we have discussed contrast radiograph, normal contrast radiographs. Next, we are going to abnormal contrast radiograph. Here is carotid artery angiogram, frontal view showing aneurysm of the internal carotid artery in the cranial cavity. Here, you can see dilatation over here in the course of the internal carotid artery on this side. So this dilatation is due to aneurysm of the internal carotid artery and rest of the part is normal. Okay. Here also this is a 3D angiogram of the circle of Willis. This part is forming circle of Willis. Lateral view, white arrow is showing the aneurysm of the anterior cerebral artery here. In this region one dilatation you can see, and this is the location of the aneurysm. Okay. In case of aneurysm, there is high chance of rupture of aneurysm due to increase in blood pressure, and there will be cerebral hemorrhage. Okay, and patient may go to shock and hemiplegia and different other symptoms. Okay, so these X-rays are present in our department. So this is anterior-posterior view of the neck. This is lateral view of the neck region. Here you can see the occipital bones, outer and inner tables. These are the cervical vertebrae, and these are the spinous process of the vertebrae, and from here the rib cage is starting. Okay. So this is anterior posterior view of the cervical spine, and this is lateral view of the cervical spine. You can see this is first cervical vertebra, anterior arch, posterior arch of the atlas. This is odontoid process of the axis. This is spinous process of all the vertebrae. So this is C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7. Okay. So this is cervical spine. This area is the esophagus, and in front of the esophagus the black area is the trachea, larynx and trachea here. Okay. And here also you can see this is sphenoid air sinus. Above the body, this is the sella turcica for pituitary fossa. This is maxillary sinus, upper jaw, lower jaw teeth. This is petrous part of temporal bone, mastoid air cells. Here is the external acoustic meatus. Okay, all those can be given in your OSPI. Here this cross mark was once given in your OSPI question. This is another X-ray in our department. So this is lateral view of the skull, and this is anterior-posterior view of the skull. Okay. In lateral view, you can see the frontal sinus, orbit. Here is the anterior cranial fossa, pituitary fossa or sella turcica, sphenoid air sinus, petrous part of temporal bone, external auditory meatus, mastoid air cells, and here is the maxillary sinus. This is the location of temporomandibular joint, upper jaw, lower jaw, and these are the teeth. Okay, so these are visible in the lateral radiogram, and you see the outer and inner table of the skulls are clearly visible. Outer table, inner table. Okay, and in between these two tables you will see the diploid tissue, and outermost area is the soft tissue of the neck, soft tissue of the head and neck region. Okay, and this is anterior posterior view. You can see the frontal air sinus. Here are the ethmoidal air sinus. These are the orbits, nasal septum, nasal cavities, inferior nasal concha, upper jaw, lower jaw. Okay, and these are the locations of temporomandibular joints and mastoid process posteriorly. Okay, here also you can see the outer and inner tables of the skulls. This is occipitomeatal view. Occipitomeatal view of the skull. In this view, you can see all the air sinuses. So here are the frontal air sinus. Here are the ethmoidal air sinus, maxillary air sinus, sphenoid air sinus. Okay, and X-ray is taken in open mouth, Waters view or occipitomeatal view. This is the anterior posterior view, and this is lateral view. Okay, so this arrow mark is representing the frontal air sinus. Okay, it was previously given in your OSPE. Next here, lateral view, you will also see this anterior cranial fossa, then sella turcica. Here is the sphenoid air sinus, frontal air sinus, maxillary air sinus, orbit, external acoustic meatus, petrous part of temporal bone, and mastoid air cells. And this is skull cap, okay, outer and inner table of the skulls, diploid tissue in between. And this is the cervical region of the neck is also visible here. Anterior posterior arch of atlas, odontoid process of axis, body of axis. These are the spinous process. Then C3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7th cervical vertebra. Then thoracic vertebra is starting. First rib is joined with the first thoracic vertebra. Okay. So these are visible in this view. Here, this is lateral view of the skull. This X-ray is also present in our department. This is sella turcica was given. Okay. So this is anterior cranial fossa, anterior clinoid process, posterior clinoid process. In between these two, sella turcica. And below the sella turcica, here is the sphenoid air sinus, frontal air sinus. Here is the orbit, maxillary air sinus. And here is the location of temporomandibular joint, external acoustic meatus, petrous part of temporal bone. Here is the mastoid air cells. Okay, and this is skull cap, outer and inner table of the skull. In between the two table, diploid tissue, and outside the scalp. Okay, scalp of the skull. And these are the cervical vertebrae can be visible, upper and lower jaw, teeth. Okay. Okay, so all these are visible in this view. So any queries? So for skull, anteroposterior view, lateral view is important. Then occipitomeatal view or Waters view. Okay, these are important. And neck, for neck, anteroposterior view and lateral view. All these are important for your OSPE. And those other things, carotid angiography, scalography, this can come and your part of the long question. Okay. 2 marks question you prepare. What is done and what is visualized. Okay, understood. So any queries? So you have to identify the structures. It will be marked with the arrow or cross in your OSPE. X-ray plates are given in your OSPE. Okay, and the related questions will be asked from there. Like in frontal sinus, where it drains, what is the location or what is the measurement? Okay, what is the significance? All the other, name the other air sinuses, like these questions can be asked. Okay. Any queries from these topics? Okay, and those pathological X-rays you will see during our clinics. You will see during your final year classes and others during ENT, eye. During those periods, you will see the pathologic or abnormal X-rays. Okay. Any queries? No queries? Okay. So this X-ray is present in our department. This one, Waters view, anteroposterior and lateral view. This is anteroposterior view of the skull, and this is lateral view of the skull. আগেরটায় যাও previous, and this is neck, cervical spine, anteroposterior view, lateral view. So all these you prepare. Okay, that's all. Thank you.